Hey everyone, welcome back to the Condo Corner with your host Stephen Young. This week we're going to talk about two very important things. One, the launch of 11 Yorkville, one of the most prestigious buildings in all of Toronto to be launched this year. Actually launched late last year in 2019, but it's almost completely sold out now. I want to talk about the market outlook of what happened last year, and then we're going to talk about the current market of what's going on in January. We'll be right back. Welcome back this week at the Condo Corner. So, very important news. We came out with the last year's market outlook, just reviewed everything. We've just coming up the last 2 years of a depressed market. It's all relative, I guess. Depressed, it wasn't that bad. It was still a very robust market, but it's been the worst 2 years in the last 12 years. And what we're going to be looking at here, this report is called the Market Year Review and Outlook Report, but the key title is called The Time Is Now. So the reason why it's called The Time Is Now, if you're going to get into the Toronto real estate market, whether it's for investing or it's for yourself, the time is now, because what the projections are moving forward over the next 5 years, one is huge population growth into Toronto, but two, they're really talking about the affordability of housing. It's getting to a point where it's almost out of reach for most people. And the time to get into the market really is into this year, into 2020, and then early 2021. But early projections into next year and to the years after that, the price increase for home values is going to be between 12 to 15% increase from what it currently is right now. Now, in the downtown condo market, last year the price increase was about 10.3%, which led the way of all the real estate sectors in Toronto. One of the things I love most about this report, and you can get this report, by the way, at the link below in the video, or you can check out our website, youngrealty.ca. It's there as well for your enjoyment and to read through the whole thing, is if you look at, they did a study, Ipsos study of who was likely to sell into 416, the 905, or the Golden Horseshoe, and it says if you add up all the percentages, about 67% of all people said they're not likely to sell. We've been having a supply side issue in Toronto now for about 15 years, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. 67% of the entire market is saying they're most likely not going to sell, which means anybody coming new into the marketplace has to find either something new or something resale from a very small percentage of the pool. Now, when it gets into, they talk about transportation, and they get into a few other interesting topics here in this report, which is a great report, by the way. But when it comes down to Toronto development, nearly 44% of all homes built in the GTA has been a condominium in the condominium sector, which I've been studying for the last 15 years and selling. Look, I'm in this all day, every day, full time, and I'm even a little out of touch with what goes on, how the speed of the market moves, how fast things move, and we're going to get into that with this project 11 Yorkville, which is an amazing project. But what I want to talk to you about right now is what happened so far in January of 2020, to give you some indication of what that report backs up, the market outlook report. This is the actual numbers that are coming into the January report. So in January, the downtown sector for condominium apartments, the average condo was $765,000, $904. The average size is just over 500 square feet for one bedroom. And in the area where the Yorkville properties we're about to talk about here, the average is $1.243 million. And those sizes are slightly larger. Yorkville tends to have slightly larger properties. But that was a very robust January, 193 sales, which is an incredible number for Yorkville and for that averaging price for 1 month. So January has already been off to a very incredible start for 2020. And I expect big things. Based on this report, in 2018, 2019, we're coming off the two lowest years in 12 years in terms of sales activity. 2020 is already beginning to be on pace with one of the top 5 years of all time in Toronto real estate market. So there's a lot of activity, but the issue is still a supply side issue, which brings me into the latest project here. Reason why I'm bringing this up, I don't really promote much pre-construction real estate, namely because one, I don't like waiting long for my investment return, and two, projections for where the market is going have been equally paced by the developers, meaning they used to underprice things, and 4 or 5 years from now you'd probably make a big run up in your investment dollars. But over the last 5 to 6 years, developers have been outpacing where the market is even being. So by the time you get the product come 4 or 5 years from now, the actual product itself is usually at or below market value. So you actually haven't made any money. That's the number one factor for me when it came to selling pre-construction or advising my clients to get pre-construction condos. So there's 650 units in this building. 600 have already been sold. They launched in September of 2019. They sold out 600 units in December. They had not brought anything back to the marketplace except for 30 more units just this January. They don't have much inventory left. The reason why I tell you this is because the average pricing on these units starts from $1,793 a square foot, which is a lot of money, price per square foot on the average for Toronto. But for Yorkville, it's actually undervalued, because if you look at the averaging, their average price in Yorkville is $1.243 million, and their average selling price on this project right now is just under that, around 1.140. So there's a few properties in here I want you to pay attention to. There's this one, which is probably the most popular one, which is the 530 square foot. There's only literally like 2 units left.
So of the units here, like the most popular unit is this 530 square foot unit here, which I really don't like the design. This long hallway is a big waste of square footage. So the price per square was 1,793 square feet. That long hallway is probably cost you $50,000. So it just isn't worth it for me. But it's the most popular design that they sold of the 600 units. The design I like a lot actually is a 631 square foot rectangular shape. It's a 1+ den and a flex space, but the den can actually be used as a potential bedroom, but with no light, so I don't like that either. To me, the best value in the whole building, it's actually lower price point than pretty much everything in Yorkville right now, is this 3-bedroom, 987 square foot unit. It's $1,768 million, sorry, $1.76 million. Average price per square foot, $1,793 of square foot, which makes it the lowest price per square foot, lower than current market inventory right now, which is really, it's very rare for a new construction building to have that kind of differentiation between new product that's even on the market yet and something in projection. So I recommend that unit. It's 987 square feet. If you are in the market for a brand new property in Yorkville, please give me a call. There really is very little inventory left. There's only about 27 total units left. Of the best valued ones, those 10 units, they have 6 units remaining on the price sheet. If you want the price sheet, if you want the floor plans, it's all on our website. Just check out the link below, and I look forward to seeing you next week at the Condo Corner.